What is up the Steem blockchain? So today I want to talk about a topic that I'm gonna call tokens wants to reproduce. That might sound pretty weird, but when I look at digital tokens, so is it the same as money? Is it the same as what we use or have used as money? I wouldn't say so. It's changing now. When you could hold money, when it was something that you could hold in your hand, a paper bill, yeah, that was one specific experience where people knew that, whoa, this is something. But it does seem in many ways that we are transcending money, what we called money, to the cloud. Now this can sound a bit weird, but I want to make the argument that tokens wants to reproduce. That once you tokenize value, you make it abundant. You make it abundant. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so you have this blockchain. You create this digital code. What is the cost of producing this digital code? Basically, close to zero. So logically, is there any reason there would be any limit to how much you can produce and something still would have value? So we have these networks right now. Okay, Steem is below 1 billion tokens, but you can see that you can have a network of less than 1 billion tokens, and each token has around 50 cents up to $1 in value in a bear market. So we take a look at that. Okay, that's interesting. How many is in the industry? Almost nobody. Okay, that is even more interesting. So if you can create one of these systems and it's not even using 1% of the market, okay, doesn't that logically mean that you can create, that there is space at least for 100 more of these services, of these, let's say you had 100 Steem blockchains. Well, if you look at it using logic, there really is no reason why this would not be possible, at least if you ask me, which in many ways shows that tokens wants to reproduce. They want to become more abundant. Right now, people playing with this on a smaller scale, but the tokens are increasing in the system, and more are being produced, and stuff still has value if you go look at the market. So we can see that these are value generating machines. Tokens want to reproduce. So you're generating more value. These are reproducing at a fast rate. Actually, we have done this already, or with the other system, the fiat system. It also has this, that banks can create value out of thin air, basically. So you can create value out of thin air and still have value on something. Okay, that's interesting. So we can create value out of nothing. Okay. So this means in many ways that, I mean, when I just take a look at it, this means you're gonna have an abundance of value. So the idea that people had, or the paradigm people had about money, that I have this, you have that, that is sort of going to change. Now, I know that we have an old system, and if you're moving into an abundance system, it probably is not going to be a romantic switch over, because changing paradigm is going to create a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. A lot. And I really mean a lot. There is going to be a lot of black and white duality thinking and perspectives, and you're going to have both. You're going to have both the side that thinks the world is collapsing, everything's crashing down, and you're going to have the people that thinks everyone is going to live in a utopian paradise. Where's the truth? It's probably, as cheesy as it sounds, it's probably somewhere in the middle. But taking a look at tokens, they truly want to reproduce. And the way everything looks at value, like systems, economic systems, they look at, we had this paradigm of, you earn this. You earn these things. So now I want, let's say, a big fat cut. You earn these. But how does that really work when you make it into code, ones and zeros? Oh, I clicked the button and 1 million of X got created, let's say. So what does that even mean? Is that earned? Or is that a true abundant system where you can create value out of thin air? And if you can create value out of thin air, there's no reason why anyone needs to take from someone else. It's a paradigm shift. It truly is a paradigm shift. That means if you have value generating machines, there's no need anymore for a leech system. Everyone can start up their own value generating machine. And as I said, here's the phase where you can go in both extreme directions. The FUD direction, the world is collapsing, everything's crashing, or oh, we all have value generating machines. It's gonna happen, like everyone's gonna own a Lambo or whatever. I mean, you can take it in the extreme, in the other direction. It's gonna happen the way I see it. It's gonna happen slower. Then it's not gonna be a big event or a big date where everything sudden changes. It's gonna be a subtle change. It's gonna be very, very subtle, small over time. How people is gonna detect it is they're gonna text, wait a sec, I have a little bit more free time over. I have a little bit more energy over. But not this, people usually envision a utopian system where one day we're gonna, I don't know, if we're gonna dance together and celebrate abundance. It's probably not gonna happen. But tokens, isn't it very obvious, if you take a look at the inflation graphene blockchain systems, that tokens wants to reproduce? Isn't it true that that is creating value out of thin air, and that the old paradigm, if you take a look at, if you look at these new systems with the old paradigm, it doesn't really work, right? Because a lot of these old paradigms, so, oh, someone did something crazy. All of those old paradigms, they sort of made sense in a scarcity-based paradigm. But where is the need to keep that paradigm if people have these value generating tools. And it's technology, right? It's technology that is coming. Technology is coming in form of software, in form of computers and tools. Technology, your brain is a technology. It's getting smarter with the intellect and just your general intelligence. Soon, in let's say 10 years, I think we're going to have some artificial intelligence, and we're also going to be able to grow human organs, human body parts, because of technology. And all of these things are coming very soon, which means it is a paradigm shift. How long have we had smartphones with big screens, I should say? Well, I see it coming 2012. Yeah, it's only been since 2012. That's not even 10 years. So it swept in. The first few years it was pretty calm. 4 years later, 2016, we got the blockchain, and we got these graphene blockchain-based systems. They only came 4 years after we got these cool smartphones. And we're starting to see it compound. These value-generating machines and technology, how exponential growth curves. I've seen how the cost of solar power seems to be going down, and if the cost of energy is going down, and the raw power that you need and the raw materials that you need, if the cost of that goes down, you can basically produce anything physical also. And if you can produce something physical for extremely cheap, of course you can produce a massive value in a digital form as well for basically zero cost. So tokens are reproducing. Tokens are reproducing. Now, what is that doing? It does create leverage. It does create leverage in what people can do. And as more stuff, more services, the lower the cost of that is going to be, the more value you're basically going to have over. And if everyone gets new value created to them, dripped out more, then that is interesting. Let's just say that is interesting. So as I said, I mean, I think that this space right now is extremely new. Steem is an experiment. These graphene blockchain-based systems are an experiment. If you go look at Blocktivity, we can see that the top blockchains at the moment is, let's say, EOS, BitShares, Steem, and you have a bunch of other graphene-based blockchains that are not overloaded. The system is not overloaded. They can scale basically at the moment. But it's a new space, but it does seem like we have space for 100 plus more of these services, which means people are going to have a lot of leverage, and they're going to start to consider how to use this leverage to do whatever it is they want to do in life, right? And as I said, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of the craziness going down. Like, there's going to be a lot of craziness going down. A lot. A few years, it's going to be very intense. But yeah, I mean, tokens, they're reproducing, right? They're reproducing. They're creating more value in the system for every day that goes. Which, I don't know, it's crazy to think about that stuff is changing so fast. And eventually, there's not really going to be a point to transact even tokens. Because if an abundance reaches such a high level, you can just use trust. You can just use the network. And there's not going to be any need for this other transact thing, because trust is going to be so high. Both trust in the network, but also trust between various nodes in the network, or you can call them humans basically. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about that, some observations. Tokens, they want to reproduce. They do, they really do. And I love to be in this space, see this evolution of technology and stuff like that. It's very exciting. Yeah, have an awesome day. Steem blockchain users. Bye bye.